Welcome to the Christian Success Show, the show that helps you achieve more success in every area of your life. I'm your host, Wes Young. Thank you for joining me today. The Christian Success Show is brought to you by Christian-Success.com. Visit Christian-Success.com to join the community and check out the special $7 deals designed to help you achieve big success in specific areas of your life. If you want personal help achieving more success, you can find out how to work with the top Christian life, success, and business coach and consultant at Christian-Success.com/coach. Now, let's get started with today's show. Today's show is $1 Million Math, and this might lead to a question, why 1 million? It seems like many people think or believe that $1 million is a goal or something they should shoot for, especially when you're thinking of financial success and financial goals. But if you ask why 1 million, then you need to ask the question, why not more? You need to know what your number is. And most people that think that $1 million is what they need, or they'd be set for life if they could accumulate $1 million, find out that while you can do a lot of good things, you could probably live a long time if you're careful, you probably are going to have a hard time living on $1 million for the rest of your life, because it's only going to return so much if you invest it. You can only do so much with it. Plus, there's inflation and the cost of living going up. So there's nothing wrong with having $1 million goal or vision of making $1 million or acquiring $1 million, but you need to be realistic about it. And like I say, you need to know your number. Most people, for them to retire comfortably, need to have more than $1 million, or at least monthly income that would be equivalent of more than what $1 million would give them. Another thing that we need to remember as I cover $1 Million Math is there's a huge difference between sales and profits. To get $1 million in sales in a business is one thing. To get $1 million in profit after all of your cost of goods sold and expenses is another thing. It's going to require a lot more than $1 million in sales. So that's just something to keep in mind as we go over this. I read an interesting quote one time many years ago that stuck with me that I'm going to share with you now. And there's 1 million ways to make $1 million. I only need one. And there's a lot of truth in that. There's a lot of different ways to acquire money and to make money. And you only need to find one good way in order to break through to the $1 million mark or above. There's a lot of different ways you can make money, a lot of ways you can make $1 million by selling products or services. You can do it with one-time sales of products and services, or through some sort of continuity, like you sell the same thing to people over and over, or you set up some sort of a membership program or something like that. So there's a lot of different ways to do it. It's hard to make $1 million using just your time. In other words, when you trade time for money like most people do, it's very difficult to make $1 million. People that work for other people get paid for their time. They get paid so much an hour usually, or even if they're paid a salary, they have to work so much time to receive that money. And this is a very difficult way to hit the $1 million mark. You have to make an extremely large amount of money per hour if you're trading time for dollars. You need to create and or acquire products and or services that you can sell. You need to be able to find something that you can make profit on, and then use whatever that is and ramp up or expand the production so you can expand and ramp up your profits. When you break down the numbers for the $1 Million Math, it can help you see how this is more realistic, and I'm going to break down a lot of the numbers with you here shortly. For example, if you can sell 30 of something for $30 or more every day, then that's over $1 million in sales on the year. Now, what can you think of that you might be able to sell for $30? then think, is it possible that you can sell 30 of them for $30 every day? Now, there's two different ways to look at this. One way to look at it is, some people say, well, I couldn't possibly sell 30 of anything at $30 each. But what if you could buy watches that normally sold for $1,000 each, and you could buy them for $100 each? And don't you think you could sell those for $150 a piece if they usually sell for $1,000? Now, I'm not telling you can go out and buy $1,000 watches for $100, but use this as a thought exercise, because if you can buy something and increase the value and still sell it for a profit, even though you're selling it for well under what the perceived value is, it's much easier to sell things when they're perceiving they're getting more value. So if you could buy the $1,000 watches for $100, you could probably sell 30 of them a day for $150, right? So that's the type of thought process you need to have. Another way that's very helpful if you're trying to work with $1 million math is focusing on things where you can do the work once or acquire something once and then get paid for it for a long time. The most common example of this is you write a book. You do the work once, and then you can sell the book for years and years and years and get paid every time the book sells. The $1 million math, and I'm getting ready to go over the specific numbers with you here, is a mindset tool for you. You can use this to help adjust your mindset, because most people feel that it's impossible to make $1 million doing anything, or $1 million in sales. But once you break this down using the numbers, you can use this as a tool to help you adjust your mindset and see that this is a possibility in some ways. Becoming someone that can sell $1 million a year or even make $1 million is much easier if you're an entrepreneur. As you become an entrepreneur, you replace the time for money thing that I talked about earlier that makes it so difficult to make $1 million or sell $1 million in a year. As an entrepreneur, you can sell things, you can acquire things and resell them for profit. You can add value to them to increase your profits. You can hire other people that are willing to trade their time for money to help you make more money. So a lot of times you're going to have to at least consider or start some sort of an entrepreneurial venture. Now, let's break down what it takes for $1 million. You could do $1 million times one sale, or you could sell 1 million things times $1 each. $100,000 times 10 sales, or 100,000 sales of $10 each. $10,000 times 100 sales, or 10,000 sales of $100 each, or 1,000 sales of $1,000 each. Or if you're selling something for $25 each, you need to sell 40,000 of them. If you're selling something for $50 each, you need to sell 20,000 of them. If you're selling something for $75 each, you need to sell 13,334 of them. Now, let's break these numbers down a different way. If you need to make or sell $1 million worth of stuff in a year, over 12 months, that's $83,334 a month. That still seems like a lot, but it sounds a lot easier than $1 million. Over 52 weeks, that's $19,231 every week. Or if you break it down to every day, over 365 days, you need to sell $2,740 worth of products or services, or that's to have $1 million in sales. If you want to make $1 million, you have to have $2,740 every day in profits. These are still big numbers, but let's go back to one of the things I asked earlier. What can you sell 30 of every day for $30 each? If you sell 30 of something at $30 each in a day, only about $1,000 a day or $365,000 a year. But once you reach that point, then you figure out how to sell 30 more of the same thing or 30 more of something else, or you figure out how to sell 30 of something for $60 each every day. It's simply math once you learn how to separate time and money, how you learn to provide value and to multiply things and sell products and services that you're not tying your time directly to. So that's the $1 million math. And none of this is easy, but it's all doable. For example, back to the numbers, if you can figure out how to sell something for $1,000, you only need to sell 1,000 of them over the course of a year for $1 million. 1 million is a good starting goal, but is it your ultimate goal? This is an important question to ask. You can use $1 million math to help you on your path to success. I want to sincerely thank you for joining me today. I know that you have plenty of options on how you spend your time, and it's an honor you're letting me help you achieve more success in your life. God bless you. Don't forget to check out the special $7 deals designed to help you achieve more success in specific areas of your life at Christian-success.com. If you want personal help achieving more success, you can find out how to work with the top Christian life, success, and business coach and consultant at Christian-success.com/coach. Have a blessed day.